So, unless you've been in hiding for the past month, then you're well aware that the world is in a pandemic. Coronavirus, also known as COVID-19. I'm not telling you anything new that you don't already know, but just look at this for a second. 170 countries worldwide are affected by this virus. Over 553,000 people worldwide are either infected now or have been at some point. I think for us, this is a reminder that the world isn't perfect. Some may even call it broken. For one, I do. I call it broken. Now, forget about the coronavirus for just a second. It's all you see on the news. I started out my little talk here just talking about COVID-19. Forget it for a minute. Let's look at the world. Let's imagine coronavirus didn't exist. We've still got problems. Think about this for a second. How many of us are affected by anxiety? I bet it's hyper affected right now. What about depression? What about just standard emotional fatigue? Some people may refer to it as sadness. We're all dealing with that. What about fear of the future? We're dealing with that right now. Every small business in Tuscaloosa is closed Monday. You think people aren't scared for the future days? And then we've dealt with physical illness since the beginning of time. So it's easy to say that we are living in a broken world. Now, think about this a minute. We went worldwide there. Let's look at just our country. We've got politics. We've got racial division. We've got religious division. We've got all kind of heated sub-arguments going on all over our culture. And that's just our country, but we live in that country. So let's take some responsibility. Think about this for a minute with me. We've talked about the world. We've talked about our country. Let's look at ourselves. We've got nothing but time, right? We're sitting around. So self-evaluation. Think about this for a moment. What kind of bad habits do we have? What about how many of us get angry easily? How many of you are super mad at your dad right now because of something he told you an hour ago? My friends, that's called rebellion. What about sadness? What about just pure lack of motivation? You think because this semester is shut down, there's no need to do anything, right? And that's us. Now, like most in the world right now, I would say that I'm grieving. And you may think, well, man, Jeremy, you're grieving. What happened? I think if we look at the correct definition of grief, that we can see we're all kind of doing it right now. Grief, according to the dictionary, listen to this: a feeling of deep distress caused by loss, disappointment, or other misfortune caused by oneself or others. Sounds like grief. Sounds like what I'm going through right now. Now, according to American psychology, yes, you're out of school, but I'm going to teach you a little. According to American psychology, there are 5 stages that take place in this process of grieving. Number 1 is denial. Now, how many of us have woken up in the past 3 weeks and thought, man, COVID-19, not going to happen to me, right? Or maybe you woke up and said, God, I can't believe this is happening. That's denial. So maybe you're camping out there. Maybe I think I've moved past that stage. Number 2, anger. We just get angry about what's going on around us. I get angry about what's going on around me. The convenience store that carries my favorite flavor of Monster is closed. Oh no, how am I gonna live? Much more serious than that. What about bargaining? See, that's the 3rd phase of grief. And I think if we have a belief system, I know for me personally, there have been times where I said, God, if you'll do this, then I'll do this. So I've tried to bargain. 4th stage of grief, according to American psychology, is depression. Now, I'm not talking about clinical depression where you need, to be put into a mental ward or take medication or daily counseling. No, nothing like that. Depression in this sense is just a deep, overarching sadness. I think in some way, all of us can relate to that, especially now. And then lastly, the last stage of grief is acceptance. Now, acceptance isn't so much saying, hey, it's okay that 7,000 people in America have died because COVID-19. No, it's not that. Acceptance is more, yes, I know 7,000 people have died, but I'm still okay. Now, it's okay to think like that. Don't feel guilty or ashamed because you're happy to be alive and uninfected. It sucks, but I'm going to be okay, right? That should be our attitude. That's what acceptance looks like. Now, in the past 3 or 4 weeks here at Campus Life, we've had to learn new ways to do things. Now, we're not canceling anything. We're replacing things. And in that spirit, I want you to think about this for a minute. The 5th stage of grief, acceptance. I want to replace that with a different kind of acceptance. Now, we go all the way back in history and we look at Jesus, and Jesus said this to us. And me personally, this is what it means. He said in John 16:33 that in this world, you're going to have times of trouble. And listen to this, blows my mind. Jesus said, but be joyful, be happy, be of good cheer, because I've overcome the world. Now, that's hope. Can't we use a mega dose of hope today? Now, Christ, who was written about by all kind of authors, one of which said this: his hope is a strong and trustworthy anchor for the soul. Think about this for a minute. In this broken world, in this broken country, in this broken body, I'm trying to live in a way that is encouraging to others while I keep my heart and my mind in a positive direction. Isn't it encouraging to know that we have hope like an anchor for the soul? So while all the rest of the world is crumbling, when things around us are burning to the ground, when folks that I know personally are sick and some even dying, I've got hope because I've got an anchor that keeps me steady, keeps me in place. So acceptance to me is more not, I'm going to be okay. Acceptance is, Christ can make me okay. Can't we all use that hope today?